President Putin suggested that this had been a constructive, engaging conversation between the two leaders, Scott. The president suggesting that both leaders agreed to exchange ambassadors. Remember, they had suspended their ambassadors from each other's capitals. Now he says they will exchange ambassadors once again. That was the low bar for success for this summit. They went about 3 hours and 15 minutes and change, depending on how you count the minutes here. That's a little bit less than what we thought the entire summit would be in the two different parts it was broken into. As you take a live look there at where we expect President Biden to appear at some point now that Vladimir Putin is done. Putin's also suggesting here that they agreed to continue talking in the sense of these cyber attacks that have been happening in the United States. He said they have agreed to start negotiations on cybersecurity. So that is at least an effort to continue a dialogue there. No takeaways here necessarily, at least as Putin describes it. He also said that he believes that most of the cyber attacks that happen in the world come from the United States, not from Russia. So Putin here in this press conference pointing the finger back at the United States for every accusation that's been lobbed at Russia. If he's accused of conducting cyber attacks or condoning cyber attacks, Putin says, well, the United States does that. If he's accused of human rights abuses, he says, what about Guantanamo Bay? If he's accused of suppressing political dissent in Russia, he says, well, what about the arrests of the January 6th insurrectionists up on Capitol Hill? They were expressing a political point of view, too, and now they're in jail. So Vladimir Putin accusing the United States in this press conference of many of the same things that his regime has been accused of in recent years. The president also wrapping up sort of on a philosophical note here, Scott. Vladimir Putin saying, let me tell you, in life, there is no happiness. There is only the specter of happiness. And that may give you some insight into Putin's thinking here.
Yeah, you know, Eamon, admittedly, I sort of chuckled when I saw this headline where he says Vladimir Putin said, we reached an agreement on cyber and we'll start negotiations on that. And I'm thinking, negotiate what?
Right.
If you believe our intelligence apparatus, the spate of cyber attacks are happening in Russia.
Right. He says that his institutions are subjected to the same risks as U.S. institutions in terms of cybersecurity. We know that's not true, right? We know that the cyber entities that have been attacking in the United States go out of their way not to attack anyone in Russia or any of the former Soviet states. That's simply a fact in terms of this spate of ransomware. Now, what Vladimir Putin could be talking about is the National Security Agency and U.S. intelligence, which presumably does have a large and robust cyber capacity to break into systems around the world and steal information for U.S. intelligence purposes. That's different, though, than what we've seen in these ransomware attacks in which they're locking down specific systems in order to either create chaos or make money. These are alleged to be cyber gangs operating out of Russia. Putin's suggesting here he doesn't have anything to do with it. Biden has said that Putin could stop this if he wants to. So you get this situation where Putin is blaming the United States for everything that he's been accused of.
Yeah. High stakes, low expectations. I suppose that was the way this was described going in. Maybe that's the way we come out of it. Eamon, time will tell. We'll hear from the American president, President Biden, in just a few moments. I'm sure we'll be back with you as well. That's Eamon Javers.